千里之行，始于足下。A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Derek Lin, where we take a deep dive into the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. I would like to invite you to center your thoughts and direct your attention to this moment in time, to the here and now. To be fully present and mindfully aware as we all ready ourselves for this sacred process of the Tao. With this chapter, we move on from the topic of large country, small country, which we spent 2 chapters on that. 60 and 61 were both about that. Now we turn our attention back to the Tao, particularly about the Tao, the reasons why it is so valuable. This is reflected in the chapter title. Now, many Tao Te Ching chapters have only 1 chapter title in Chinese. This one actually has 2. So let me show you what they are. 赞道章 to the left, 道傲章 to the right. They are both very similar. In the translation above, I picked the one on the left, but we can also pick the one on the right. They are both very common. So then the next time that we talk about the chapter title, I may be translating the one on the right. For the one on the left, the first character there is praise. The second character, the one in the middle, is the character for the Tao. And you can see that it's an exact copy of the character that you see in the slide at the very upper right-hand corner. Then the third character is just the character for chapter. So it's the Praise Tao chapter. And this may sound a little similar to the praising that we're used to seeing on Sundays in a church setting. But as a general rule of thumb, in the Tao Te Ching, there's a lot of wonderment. There's a lot of sense of awe about the Tao, but not as much praising as one may be used to from that church paradigm. Then the other one, the other chapter title that you see here, the first character you can already tell it's the same character visually as the character for the Tao. So that's indeed what it is. The character in the middle means wonder. So this chapter title is Tao is Wondrous. The Tao, the wonderful Tao, the wonders of Tao chapter. There are multiple ways that we can translate that. So what does the chapter say? Let's dig into it. Tao Te Ching, chapter 62. The Tao is the wonder of all things, the treasure of the kind person, the protection of the unkind person. Admirable words can win the public's respect. Admirable actions can improve people. Those who are unkind, how can they be abandoned? Therefore, when crowning the emperor and installing the 3 ministers, although there is the offering of jade before 4 horses, none of it can compare to being seated in this Tao. Why did the ancients value this Tao so much? Is it not said that those who seek will find, and those with guilt will not be faulted? Therefore, it is the greatest value in the world. So that's 62. Before we get into talking about the meaning of 62, let's take a look at the repeating characters so we can identify the sections. Starting from the top down, I think you can easily see visually line 2 and 3 have multiple characters that are repeated. So on the right-hand side, I have marked the English words that represent those Chinese characters. And you'll see that I have only partially highlighted the word unkind. And that's because unkind in the original is 2 characters. Indeed, the first 2 characters of line 3. The first character is negation, the not character. And then the second character is kind or good or skillful. So that's why it's done that way. Now, when we identify line 2 and 3 as repeating, here we may be tempted to just say that, there you go. Lines 1, 2, and 3, that's the first section, because we don't see those 3 characters being repeated down below. Okay, well, that's a good thought, but let's hold off on that and look a little bit further. What are the repeating characters for lines 4 and 5? Visually, you can probably pick out quite a few because even the first character is the same. And then there's middle 2 characters that are the same. So the first character here, we're going to dig into this in just a moment. This character means beautiful. And then these 2 characters that repeat, 可以 means can or able to. So these are repeated. So would this be then the second section? Well, possibly, but a further look sees that you've got unkind in line 3 that is repeated in line 6 at the very end. And then line 6 goes on to how can they be abandoned. Now, for sure, between 7 and 8, there's got to be a line because everything up until line 7 is talking about kind and unkind people, how the Tao treats them. But then from line 8 onward, it's about crowning the emperor, the ministers, the jade, the horses, etc. That's a completely different topic. So indeed, we should have a line there. But when we mark it out like this, we can see that from line 1 to line 7, it is actually one section talking about how the Tao is impartial and doesn't play favorites. It's going to be nurturing to the good and not so good people. The not good, unkind people, the people who are not so great, they cannot be abandoned. The Tao will not abandon them. Now, from this point downward, it gets a little more tricky because if you look at all the lines from line 8 on, there's hardly any repeating characters at all. So this is what I meant when I said that there's going to be times when you have to go by the meaning of what the lines actually say and not depend on the repeating characters for the poetic structure. In this particular case, we have 4 lines that conclude in none of it can compare to being seated in the Tao. Crowning the emperor, installing the 3 ministers, the jade, the 4 horses, none of it compares to being seated in the Tao. That's a complete thought right there. Then, looking at the last 4 lines, yeah, that makes sense. It's asking the question, why did the ancients value the Tao so much? And then he answers that question with 2 more lines and then a conclusion. Therefore, it is the greatest value in the world. So these lines, the arrangement, the thoughts being expressed, I think you will find that they are quite intriguing as well. Let's explore further. Starting with the first line, the Tao is the wonder of all things. Why does Lao Tzu say that? So first, I want to zero in only on the first two characters, 道者. If I just use one character here, Tao, well, that's the same character that we're kind of used to by now. That's a character for the Tao. What is this expression here, 道者? Literally, it says that which is the Tao. So this character here, 者, is versatile. It can follow many things. When you want to say he who has, he who is, she who can, that second part is always done in Chinese using this character. So that which is the Tao, well, that's just synonymous with the Tao. You could simplify by doing without the second character, but this is the way that Lao Tzu chose to express the Tao for this particular line. I think it sounds better. So that's just the Tao, nothing complicated, nothing too deep or difficult to understand. Now let's look at the overall line. The Tao is the wonder of all things. Why is it the wonder of all things? Well, because it is the ultimate source. It's the source where everything comes from. And that's amazing. That's incredible to think that we actually came from some kind of source, which is the nothingness of the Tao. So the Tao is the basis for everything because it is the source of everything. The Tao gives rise to all, and the Tao nurtures all. The nurturing part is in the context of the Tao is the source of the world as well. And the world provides a nurturing environment where living things can grow. There's the water, there's the air, there's the sunlight, there's gravity, there's all the things that we need. Then the Tao is the basis for everything because the Tao is our nature. Now, with all of these attributes of the Tao, it is no wonder that when we study the Tao, even just a little bit, the benefits we receive is great. Understanding even a little bit of the Tao benefits us greatly. Whatever we can glimpse of the Tao, we can use in life to be very effective. So let's move on. Line 2. The treasure of the kind person. So what does that mean? We start again with the first two characters, 善人. This is denoting people who are good, kind, or skillful in living life. Skillful in the art of living life. Good people. So the treasure of the good people. Well, that is because good people understand the Tao. Therefore, they see it as the valuable treasure that it is. So good people are careful to live in accordance to Tao principles. They cherish the Tao, regard it as the ultimate value or the value beyond value. It's priceless. Therefore, they hold on to it. They will not abandon it. The principles of the Tao will live on no matter where they happen to be. That's how they hold on to it. So they practice the Tao through thick and thin, not just when times are good. It's like when sometimes you say, yeah, it's easy to be nice when the going is easy, but much tougher when the going gets tough. Then the nasty side comes out. For Tao cultivators, it doesn't matter whether the going is easy or tough, they practice and hold on to the Tao through good times and bad. Then there's another aspect of the Tao we should also talk about. Line 3, the protection of the unkind person. So here's the question. What about those who are not good or skillful? Well, they don't treasure the Tao. They don't see the value in the Tao. They are not knowledgeable about the Tao. They may not even be aware of it. So they may be ignorant. Now, it doesn't matter to the Tao. The Tao is not a person, not a deity. The Tao doesn't care the way that human beings care. Therefore, the people who are unkind, not good, not skillful, they still benefit from everything the Tao provides. The environment that is nurturing protects them, so they're protected by the Tao just like all living things. And I talked about the air we breathe, the sun for the warmth, the ground to walk on, the food to consume, the water to quench thirst. I even talked about gravity. So these are available to all and make no distinction between good or not good, kind or unkind. These are yin and yang dualities. The bottom line is they're protected by the Tao because they're given the chance to evolve and improve. Human beings are not static entities. We learn, we grow. There's a chance that even those who are not good, not kind, or skillful, they can become better. They can be kinder. They can become more skillful. When that is the case, their thinking will change. So now you have seen one part of the value of the Tao. It is the wonder of all things. It is the treasure of the kind person, the protection of the unkind person. We now have enough for the first of the summaries for this chapter. Part 1, the priceless Tao. We talked about the Tao being the wonder of all things, the myriad things. Here, I want to extract from that and take it to the wonder of all human beings. Because like the myriad things, we too originate from the Tao. I can even say it another way in more of a secular fashion by pointing out that regardless of background, regardless of ethnicity, nation of origin, the path that you follow in life, all of us come from the same source. We're all human beings. We all belong to the same family of human beings in this world. We all come from that same root. The Tao, nature and nurture for all of us, here is what I'm trying to say. The Tao is embedded as the nature in everyone. So when I say that we all have a natural preference for peace, for tranquility, that's what I'm talking about. There is a part of us that is our very nature that yearns for peace of mind. It is the Tao. And nurture, that's the other part, where we talk about the world that's been provided to us with everything that we need to survive and thrive. That's the Tao. Whatever that is, that's the Tao. That's the label that we give it. So, yes, it is the wonder of all human beings. The second part of it, treasure for the good, the people who are good. So here, I want to challenge you a little bit. I want to ask you to think about this. I'd like to ask you to reflect on the value of the Tao from your perspective. Is it valuable? Why is it valuable? What is the goodness of the Tao for you? This can be different for everybody. Someone may say that, well, I've been following Tao principles and Tao practices, and I've become much healthier as a result. That's great. That's one of the reasons why it is valuable. There are many other possible reasons, and I would like to encourage you to think about your own. Lastly, protection for the not so good. This is because the Tao gives everyone a chance to grow. So those who do not cherish the Tao, when they grow and develop and become wiser, perhaps they will come to cherish the Tao. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Let us all travel safely so we can meet again. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.